I try to abide by it myself as well. And I won't claim authorship of it. I took the first three C's from General Mattis, right? But the first is competence, right? Don't just dabble in your craft, be an expert at it. Right? And from a manager's perspective, if you are really good at the job, you're going to manage the job better. You're going to better understand the pain points that your people are going through. And so from that perspective, I like to be, I call it micro informed, not to micromanage, but to understand the nuances that the teammates are going through. And as a manager, that gives me much more insight and ability to advocate for the team. Competence, caring, right? If you show them that you care about them and their development, right? They're going to perform that much better for you and for the organization. Conviction is the third C, which is setting your standards and stick to them. Many people that I talk to that are frustrated in their roles, sometimes it comes down to they don't actually know what's expected of them because their manager doesn't have that deliberate conversation. And then hold people accountable, tell them, be honest with them when they're succeeding and when they're not meeting the mark, because people need that feedback because none of us are perfect. All of us have room to improve and feedback is absolutely necessary. Here's the conviction, right? The fourth C is communication. I am big on communicating. Sometimes I over communicate, right? But as the old adage says, bad news doesn't get better with age. Communicate often, right? If there's a challenge, communicate it. If there's good news, communicate it, right? But I would rather receive too much communication than not enough. And so those four C's, almost regardless of the type of job you're doing, translate for success. And I think that kind of translates a bit to cybersecurity as a whole, because it is not a static career field. And in cybersecurity, if you are not continuously learning, if you're not engaging directly and deliberately to be aware of what is the latest in tradecraft and techniques, you get left behind and it's that combination, but just really that willingness to just continuously absorb information and be static that has been a critical piece for me. And it's one of the number one pieces of advice I try to provide people is always be learning, finding those opportunities where I can be very deliberate with the training and the experience, and certifications was a good one. I'm a fan of it from that perspective.